Greater Clark County School Board of Trustees meeting to order. Ms. Markowski, we have Ms. Hutchinson missing, and we have Keith Freeman on Zoom. If you all stand with me to say the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board, first item would be the approval of the agenda, and I'd like to move that we approve the agenda as presented. Could I please have a second?
I will say. Tammy did.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Freeman said aye as well. Okay, the next item would be the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, and I'd move that we approve these. Could I please have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Crump. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Next, public comments on agenda items. I don't think we have any. It's busy in here, but I don't think we have any. Goal strategies. Do we have anyone that's speaking? Okay, the next item would be the consent agenda as presented. Board, do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Next would be gifts to buildings. We don't have any gifts to buildings, so we're going to move on into action items, a resolution for supplemental payments. And it would be Ms. Helton, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank you. Very good. Very good.
All right. The supplemental pay presented is to allow the payments to the teachers listed for the activities that they completed. This information has been shared with Samantha Pierce, GCEA President.
Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Do I have a second for the approval of the supplemental payment presentation? Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Mr. Freeman. Next would be the approval of the master contract with Para Educators and Association.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the paraeducators and administration have reached a tentative agreement on a 2-year contract. So a couple of contract changes, the increase to the base pay from $14 an hour to $16 an hour. That is for the year 1 of the contract, and then a $1 increase on the 2nd year of the contract. Eligible paraeducators will receive a $500 contribution to the HSA for both January of 26 and January of 27. And then the stipend for the highly qualified paras has been increased to $450. So before I ask for your approval, just want to tell the paraeducators, if any of them are listening, how much we appreciate them working with us, and we appreciate what they do every day. It takes a lot of different employees to make the world go round at all the schools, and we just want to make sure that they know that they are appreciated. So with that, I would like for you to approve the contract with the paraeducators for the next 2 years.
Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I'll move to approve that.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. I would echo what Ms. Helton said.
I second her comments. Thank you.
Yes, I can't say enough. Any other comments?
Love our paras. They've been very successful in my kid's life, so
Yeah, absolutely.
a lot.
Ms. Freeman, anything to say?
No.
Okay. Hearing no more comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstaining. All right, moving right along, approval for the master contract of Greater Clark Service Association.
Okay, so we have also reached a tentative agreement with our bus drivers. So just the summary of changes there, we did increase the association business days from 5 to 7 days. We updated their perf language to go along with the resolution that you guys have already approved. The HSA contribution will also apply to those eligible employees. So same thing as for the paras, the $500 in January of 26 and January of 27. We are going to increase their attendance bonus from $300 to $500 per quarter. Their meal allowance was a little out of whack with what is typical of these days, so we increased that a little bit as well. and then increase base pay from $21.25 per hour to $23.25 per hour for 25-26, and then another $1 for the 26-27 school year. So with that being said, I would like to ask for the approval of this contract, but before we do, also bus drivers, another very important part of our corporation. So I just want to make sure they know how much they are appreciated, and thank the bargaining unit members for working with us on their new contract.
Okay. Board, do I have a motion for the approval of the contract with Greater Clark Service Association?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Are there any questions or comments from Ms. Helton?
What is the meal allowance? When did they get that?
So if they're driving something like a field trip or some type of game or
That's what I
athletic
thought.
contest, something like that, yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just appreciate bus drivers. I couldn't do it, so,
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
very patient people.
Absolutely. Any other? We good? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Okay, opposed and abstaining, I guess none. Okey doke.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we have the MOA for IUS Signature School Partnership.
Good evening, Board. Mr. Loeffner and I have been working on this for quite some time, and we're very excited. As you know, we've had a multitude of different student teachers with partnerships with varying universities. But we know now the challenging world of the classroom. We really want people who are pursuing education to have a solid experience and really understand the challenges and rewards of the classroom and start earlier in their undergrad. So this is an opportunity for us and IUS to host the first two. You take some foundational coursework and then you begin what is called a methods course, where you're learning all the pedagogy and how to write lesson plans and understanding the requirements of the state. And so we met with IUS several times, and they are going to host two methods courses at North Haven. And so the IUS students will actually come to North Haven to have their lecture part with their professor. And then they'll have real live experience out in the classrooms to be able to learn and apply and work side by side teachers earlier within their coursework, instead of waiting until student teaching and aha, here you are, and gosh, this is a lot more challenging than what I thought. So they felt like it was an excellent idea. Mr. Loeffner and I have both seen this at work across the river, and we really wanted to get this going with IUS. So the first two courses will be Education E340, which is the methods of teaching reading, and of course that will be all of our literacy blocks are typically in the morning. And then they also wanted to go ahead and do the method of teaching social studies. It aligns perfectly with our new Amplify series because there's a lot of content within that. So that is what this agreement is about. And we are very excited about launching that this fall.
Okay, Board, I'd like to move that we approve the memorandum of agreement with Greater Clark and IUS effective July 15, 2025 for a 5-year term. Could I have a second, please?
I'd second that.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments? I'm just want to say I'm just really grateful that, and I've, in the last 10 years, I've just thought we have to get these folks as young as we can get them, and let them understand. You know, pedagogy is not something you learn in a year, and with student teaching submersion, it's good, but you can get it or you can get lost in it. So this is brilliant. I mean,
Well, we know that it's not just, I think in past years and over, the last couple decades, they have focused on the teaching part. But we all know now that whole teacher clarity, if what you're teaching, if you're teaching and teaching and teaching and your students aren't learning, and so this is really a real world picture of, oh gosh, she's really doing a nice job, but these kids are not, so I think through osmosis, if nothing else, they are in the classroom.
Right.
Similar to, other fields, the medical field. They have to spend a lot of time in the OR, before they start doing surgery. And I think in the world of education, we could do a better job of that. And this is an example of.
And I think that's why for years we've called it a practice. It's no different than medicine. So anyway, but thank you. Any other comments, board? I'm sorry I get a little freaked out there, but just kind of dig it. Okay, all those in favor of the MOA between Greater Clark and IUS effective June 15, 2025 for a 5-year term, say aye.
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 Opposed and abstaining. Okay. MOU between Jeffersonville Police Department and Greater Clark County Schools.
Thank you, Mr.
Huber, how are you?
President. Great, and you?
Very good.
Everybody's doing well.
Very good.
This summer so far. In your packets, you will have the MOU and the approved resolution from the City Council of the City of Jeffersonville approving the SRO services that will be provided to 5 schools as outlined in the MOU. This includes the 4 that we already had in Jeffersonville, plus an additional SRO for Pike Elementary. The district will be responsible for 50% of the cost of the annual salary for all 5 officers, salary and benefits for all 5 officers, and will be paid quarterly from the operations fund. Some of the notations that I want to explain. We can only, as a school district, pay 50% because they are only employed with us in an annual year 50% of the time. When they are done serving us, they go to the city. And in some cases, if a rotation needs to happen where one would go on vacation, then one steps in. So I cannot do 100% of that. The 5 schools specifically is Franklin Square, Pike, Jeff High, Parkview, and River Valley. Okay. 6 years ago, when we stepped into the district, no elementary had a single SRO. And our financial situation warranted us to not only have a capital plan, we had to abide by a financial plan, and even with our raises and everything, that all handshake together, we have to put a plan together so that way we could be successful in our financials. So we do have a plan on how to fully staff our SRO situation with all of our buildings. So, we have a few more, but one of the things is we're going to be phasing them in each year, so that way I can plan financially. On top of the fact that we have to be considerate, we work very close with Kenny Kavanaugh and his assistant and the department as a total, because as you know in the world today, hard to get employees in any profession that we're dealing with. We are used to it because we're used to it because of teachers, which incidentally, a note today that I had heard that our fill need for teachers is more than less than half than we've ever had in our district. So we understand that trying to get employees, what that's like, and Kenny has had to kind of work through that, and they do go through special training. They do have all the interview process to come to our schools. So we have to be considerate of that. We can't just come in and say, hey, we want 3 of your guys, then what are we going to do for the services that are provided to the rest of the city? So that plan has been discussed with him for a few years now, and so we know how we're going to approach that. And let's not forget that all of our schools are covered because we do employ 2 SROs full-time all year here in the district. So all schools are covered. One takes care of Jeffersonville, the other takes care of Charlestown and New Wash. So if anything ever happens, one can go help the other, both can come to a situation, and they do travel and go to every school, even if they have an SRO. So they work on our safety plan. They work with us on implementation of their needs within the district. Our students, we're very conscious. Safety is our first thing. Yes, we have financial, but safety is our very first item in everything that we do. So I'm very pleased at the fact that Jeffersonville is going to be providing this SRO for us. We will be opening Pike, one of the largest elementaries in our district. And, at that site, when you go and visit for the open house, there is work that's still outside going on that will then turn into parking and driving, and it is on Veterans Parkway. And so that first day with everybody getting used to that new way of getting in at this temporary moment is going to be significant. And we do have people that are going to be helping with that. our 2 SROs will be there those first few days when kids are coming to school in this new beautiful school. So I just want to make that point that there are a lot of things that you have to work through to get those human capital inside your business. And you have to be considerate of the fact that our police department is fantastic and does serve, the greater area of Jeffersonville. So I just kind of want to make that point. So it's my recommendation that the board consider the MOU and approve that new payment that we're making and an additional SRO.
Board, do I have a motion for that approval?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freeman. Any questions or comments?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Just really quick, I'm guessing, or I don't want to assume, but the 4 that we already have are at both of our high school,
Right, so we
Jeff High.
prior to this, adding the 5th was Franklin Square, Jeff High, Parkview, and River Valley,
okay.
okay? So we started with the secondary, and then we started adding, we had the secondary, and then we started adding in elementary. So we start with Franklin Square, so, we have to work with Kenny. There was a time where Kenny wasn't even getting hardly any applications just to fill for his streets, so we had to kind of work with him on that so he could get his needs as well filled. So.
Parkwood has one also.
And then you were saying there's 2 that are full-time always, those are not including these? Is that in addition?
That is
or
Right,
correct.
that's
like-
Randy
Randy
Burton, who
In
was a
Charlestown.
former Clark County Sheriff that takes care of Charlestown, New Wash, and
Gotcha.
then Brian Mitchell, who was a former Jeff police officer.
Right, okay. Thanks. You can go ahead, Teresa, sorry.
That's okay. I think you took care of it. I was just gonna ask.
We have officers in New Washington and Parkwood, Clarksville, but Jeffersonville is only responsible for the 5. So Franklin Square would have been the first elementary inside Jeffersonville. And then the others was the high school and then middle schools.
I just want to say thank you to you, Laura. I know you included me in on that meeting, and you were very mindful and respectful of the fact that right now the city of Jeffersonville is 5 officers down.
That's right.
They're still in training. So it wasn't like, I think there were some people in the community that felt like we could just lay an egg and there's an officer, and that's not the case.
That's right.
But you were very good, and Chief Kavanaugh was
good.
awesome. And it worked out, and there is a plan to continue.
Correct.
So, and once we budgeted that in, and we can get to the 26 budget, but I just want to commend you and Chief Kavanaugh for that. I wish I could remember his assistant's name. He's very knowledgeable. And
McBoy?
yeah.
Scott,
Good.
Yeah.
He just was really helpful as well. So I just they really communicated with us, so.
Yes.
I would also like to thank the city council people that supported this,
Yes.
those that did.
They feel it's very important, that we provide this. Once they understood where Chief Kavanaugh was and what he was trying to do to, satisfy what, Jeffersonville has already budgeted and planned for,
Yes.
and then trying to also take care of us. It's pretty major to do.
Yes.
And so, and we're thankful for that. We're very thankful for that.
Okay, any other comments? If not, all those in favor of the approval of the MOU with Jeff Police Department and Greater Clark County Schools for SRO services for the 25-26 school year, say aye. 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 Opposed and abstaining? Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to board comments. Do we have any board comments?
I'm good.
I was excited to see a lot of school kiddos in the 4th of July parade over the weekend. I saw the band was on the front page of the newspaper, and there was the basketball team was there. I saw just a lot of different groups with the kids, so that was exciting.
Not for me tonight.
Okay. Keith?
Yeah, I am so excited that we have our ribbon cuttings for 2 elementary schools next week, I believe. So yeah, I can't wait to get back in town and attend those events and let the community come into the schools and see all the good work that our contractors and like Perfection and Core and everybody else AML has had a hand in building our, 2 new schools in our district, so can't wait to get back for that.
Good deal. Ms. Perkins?
Well, I just would like all of us to, in our prayers tonight, think about the families and all the little girls that have lost their lives in Texas. It's just hard to wrap your brain around it. God bless them.
I got nothing to add to that. I agree. Mr. Loeffler?
Well, a couple comments. I want to thank the city of Jeff for working with us on the SRO thing. And we do have a plan. We've had a plan for 6.5 years in terms of, like Laura said, we started with no SROs in our elementaries. We now have them in most of our elementaries, and we'll continue to build that out as we go through the next couple of years to make sure. But even with that, like we talked about, Randy and Brian, can be in any of those places real quick. That's what we did with those positions. So, we have a plan, and we're executing the plan, much like a lot of the other things that we've tried to do. Personnel-wise, they also commented, we're trending in a real good direction in terms of, we talked earlier during cabinet. Right now, I think we've hired, 25 teachers so far this summer. Typically, last year, we hired almost 100. In typical years, it's somewhere around 50, 60. So we're trending really well in terms of not having much turnover. And I think a lot of it has to do with, we try to be respectful of our employees and make sure that they're paid good salary, good benefits. And you see that with our paras and bus drivers. I think Daniel said we maybe had to hire 3 bus drivers, and he had been training some already as monitors that were training and getting this CDL, so he's growing his own at the transportation department. So far it's been a really good summer in terms of personnel and hiring and not having much turnover, and we hope it stays that way. And then what Keith said about the new schools, we're really excited next Tuesday and Wednesday, July 15th at Pike at 4:45, we'll do the ribbon cutting. And then July 16th at Charlestown Elementary at 4:45, we'll do the ribbon cutting and be there till 7, doing a walkthrough. And not every room's going to be open in every hallway. We're going to open a few classrooms in each hallway for people to walk through, and obviously they also be able to look at the media center, the STEM rooms, the gym, cafeteria, and look at the spaces that are in the school. So we're really excited about that. I do ask that the community for the first 3 or 4 months, they're going to have to bear with us until the old schools are demolished and the parking lots are completed. There's going to be some stress on getting people in and out of those sites in the morning and afternoon. Now, once those are finished, there'll be plenty of staging room, for cars and traffic on site. But early on, they're projecting that the Charlestown Elementary parking lot probably won't be done until late October. The Pike Elementary parking lot staging area probably late November, early December, when it's done. So this first semester is going to be a little interesting in terms of, one of the things we've talked about as a cabinet with the elementary schools, Pike and Charlestown, is maybe allowing parents to drop off a little earlier, 10, 15 minutes earlier than the other schools, so that we can get cars moving in and out of there sooner, so they're not backing up anywhere. So we're looking at that, and we'll adapt as we need to get through the first semester.
Good deal.
So
Good deal.
I do.
Good deal.
I'm going to remind you guys that new teacher orientation is July 23rd, and it should be on your calendars already. So I believe I put it on there. At Fetter Center, if you would like to come down to meet the new teachers, I want to make sure. And we also want to congratulate Kim for being a grandma. That's so exciting.
Yay. Good for you.
That's what a 2025 grandmother looks like.
Is there anything you want to say about that?
Oh, we're just, our hearts are bursting, and we're just so excited that everybody's healthy and it went well, and so. It went long, but it went well. Yes. So,
Did she get the redheaded gene?
no, she did not.
She not, oh, well.
It's dark, but her husband had dark hair too, and then he turned away the blonde, so we'll see. We'll see, but not a redhead.
All right, well, congratulations. I need a motion for adjournment. Thank you, Ms. Mustaine. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Freeman, safe travels.